I'm joined by Nabeel Alamgir, CEO and co-founder of food tech startup Lunchbox. His company enables ordering, loyalty, and marketing services for over 100 mid-sized restaurant brands, including Bareburger and Fuku. They recently just closed on a 50 million Series B and stand at a headcount of 250 employees. Nabeel, I appreciate you sparing me your time today. I've got 5 pressing questions for you. Should we get to them?
Let's do it.
You're originally from Bangladesh, 15 years old when you came to the US. Your dad was a cab driver. Your mom worked at Dunkin'. You picked up English watching movies. Humble beginnings, right? Given your background, recognizing your disadvantages, why do you think you've been able to rise above it all and get so far in life in such a short amount of time? Not many people take the title of a CMO at 25 or a CEO at 27. So, what is it about you that's put you ahead?
That's such a great question, and a tough one because I don't know who says it, but there's a phrase I've ever heard, which is, "I've worked 10 years to become an overnight success," right? So that's what my life has felt like. And I see a lot of young people that are like, they complain a lot about work-life balance. And I'm just confused by it because the rules to be successful is boomer as fuck. The rules to be successful has not changed. The rules to be successful is you add a lot of value and help as much as you can. So that has been my secret. My secret is, out work and out help the problem. And I've done that when I was, at 17. I got a job as a busboy. I was trying to do it as a busboy, right? What can you have as an impact as a busboy? You can make people's day. As a server, as a busboy, you can make people's day, right? I was feeding people, and it was the most amazing feeling in the world. I did it for a decade, right? So I did the same thing for a decade. I was feeding people for a decade, and I became great at it. When I started, I was terrible. I did not speak to my tables. I did not know how to speak English well, and I spent a decade. I spent 10,000 hours or so becoming really, really, really good at it. And then I became the CMO. So that was literally a decade at Bareburger of trying to do the same thing, but a little bit better. And I think that's the key to success, which is, hyper focus and do what you love. And the rules for success hasn't changed, which is put in a lot of hours and, you'll see it, reward you back. So now I can do what I want. Now I can become maybe a CEO. Now I can do X and Y and Z. But that wasn't the case. It was doing the same thing every day for a decade and loving it every day.
When you were working at Bareburger as CMO, this problem of third-party delivery, cannibalizing sales, and drying up profit presented itself. It seems like it was almost instinct for you to address it by launching your own startup. How were you so sure that this is what you wanted to do? Because often the hardest part in business is getting started and making that initial commitment to an idea. You're always wondering whether the risk is worth the payoff. So why were you so certain that this was a risk that you wanted to take?
I think the reason I wanted to take this risk is because I was living that risk every day. I understood that risk every day. I was close to that risk every day, right? I think that's why, the problem was clear, right? And don't try to just start a company to get rich. You will, maybe you'll make it, but I'm not smart enough to make it that way. Stay close, experience the problem, talk to the people who are experiencing the problem and try to solve it for them. We tried to do that. Then more importantly, is this a risk I'm willing to bet my life on? Yeah, this is, all risk. Anything that is really, really scary is good enough for you to bet your life on, right? I've done that my entire life. I did that when I was, leaving Bangladesh. I did that when I started my life here again. I did that when I was dropping out of school, of med school. I was doing that again and again and again and again, and I'll fucking do it for the rest of my life, right? So is the risk worth taking? Who gives a shit? Take it. Right? You'll regret more not taking it than, oh, I took it and it failed. I failed 2, 3 businesses, and I'm so blessed that I did not walk away on this idea. And if it fails, because we're 3 years in, we're now a 300 plus million dollar company, but so what? What if we fail? I still got to meet you. I still got to do everything the last 3 years, and that's good enough because now when I start my next business, I might be even better faster, right? So, two-part question. First was I was close to the problem, try to be close to the problem. Second part, take the risk. Short of jumping from a building unharnessed, take the risk.
You faced 72 rejections before someone wrote Lunchbox a check. That's enough to demotivate and deprive people of energy. At that point, you might be second guessing yourself and wondering what you're doing with your time. What kept you hungry enough to hear one rejection after the other?
That's a great question. I second guessed myself after 72 rejection, and I was 100% sure we're going to make it. I second guessed myself the day the check was wired, and also was sure that night will make it. So all entrepreneurs and founders and people who are high achieving are constantly doubting themselves and also believing in themselves, betting on themselves, right? So that's what I was doing. 72 investor rejection, what, I was going through psychologically was hell. It was every no made it clearer that we are not a good idea or we are a failure. But how you process that and stay the course is every pitch makes you 1% better. You polish here, you polish there. When you hear a pattern of feedback, it's real. When you hear a singular feedback, it's noise. I get a lot of noise all day long, and I ignore a lot of noise all day long, and I will. But patterns react to it. Investors are trying to help you because they're looking to invest. It's not like they have to deploy capital, they have to invest, right? They wish you were the right one, they're giving you the feedback. Take it, but take patterns of it. So that's how I stayed the course, but it doesn't really change anything, man. Like, I'll wake up today and this morning, and I woke up nervous about a couple of things, and that, on why I think Lunchbox will fail and I'll fail. And I was feeling like the king of the world on a couple of other things on why we're going to make it. So we are who we are, and I think the most important thing you need as an entrepreneur is threshold to pain. You need to take a
Mm.
lot of it. You need to eat a lot of shit. As soon as you wake up, you need to eat some of it. When you go home, you need to eat some of it. From your investors, from your employees, from your partners, from your co-founders, you just need to take a lot of pain, and you need to stop recognizing them as pain and just continue to grow from it. So that's what I've done, and that's what I will always do.
Eventually become numb to pain. And with failure, it's like it's a blessing in disguise. It's just about your perspective and how you view failure.
Yeah, I wouldn't go as far as being numb to it, right? I would actually feel it, right? The cost is which ones are you, again, which ones are you taking seriously, which ones are you not? Because you will get pain all day long, but which ones do you respond to? As a leader, as a human, your time is limited, your resources are limited, so you don't want to be numb to it. You want to learn how to be numb to some of it and how to react to some of it, right? I think that's the skill even I'm still learning, and I think I'm decades away from learning.
The pandemic worked in your favor. It created a sense of urgency. Online ordering was top of mind for everybody. Restaurants were feeling the downsides of relying on third parties. The product, in many ways, sold itself. You might even call it product led growth. How will Lunchbox maintain that momentum in the years ahead? What's the next wave of disruption you're going to ride or create?
I'm not going to give the pandemic credit for our hard work, right? The pandemic maybe did some help educating folks on the effect of Grubhub and DoorDash, right? If you order on Grubhub, $100 order, the restaurant makes $5-10. You know who understood it finally? The restaurant themselves, because dine-in sales were out the window. So that's what pandemic has done. But we still had to go fight. And I told my investor this, and they loved it. They actually tweeted it out, which is, we're going to go into this, and we're going to come out different. We all are going to come out of this pandemic different. The question is, are we coming out stronger, better, or worse? Right? So I think companies, some companies and leaders and CEOs and management team step up when their backs are against the wall, and I think Lunchbox has those people. We have that hustle, that grit, that mentality to say, hey, it's really tight here, and we really enjoy it, and we want to play. So even this year is going to be really tough. With recession, inflation, with everything that is happening in the market, with all the money that's being sucked out of the economy, it's going to be tough again. We're going to come out of this stronger than we would have under normal circumstances, because that's how much more restaurants need us to step up so we can help them, and more of them everywhere. So I think it's just some leaders, and there's an incredible article by Ben Horowitz, Wartime CEO versus Peacetime CEO, right? I'm a wartime CEO. Don't call me when there's peacetime. I'll go and break the China and cause a problem. I'm ready for war. I'm ready for growth. I'm ready to help restaurants everywhere because that's what they need. They need an angry, loud voice, and I'm happy to be that.
Looking back, what's the single greatest lesson you've learned since you first arrived in the US as 15-year-old Nabeel from Chittagong, Bangladesh?
It's very simple. Uh, be yourself. Every time I wasn't myself, I paid a hefty fucking price. And I'm so tired of paying for that same mistake again and again. I am tired. I no longer want to ever pay for not being myself. Because every time I've decided to waver off and be someone else that someone else me to be, my investors wanted me to be, my employees wanted me to be, the press wanted me to be. Every time I've tried that, I've paid the price. And when I pay the price, you know who pays the price? Restaurants. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm just going to be myself, and I'm going to be myself forever, and I'm going to love who I am, and I'm going to find people who are fine with that version as well, and I'm going to do that for the long run and forever and every day and every second and every minute because anything else is exhausting, right? My life is hard enough as it is, like all our lives. I'm just going to go ahead and live it as the character that is actually me and not pretend to be anyone else. Not go ahead and be a more polished version of myself, not be a more educated version of myself, not be any other fucking version of myself. This is who I am, and I'm committing to this forever.
Nabeel, thanks again for your time. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave people with?
Yeah, I'd love to leave them with how we met. We met because you DM'd me on LinkedIn, and I responded, "Let's do it." And I just want people to take that away for everyone, which is send that email, send that DM, you know, start that blog, start that vlog, start, do it, start it, and the universe will, return that favor.
Well,
Awesome.
Nabeel, I'm super grateful for your time today. And yeah, I think people will learn a lot from this interview and hope to see you soon.
I love it. Thank you so much, Ahmed.
Thanks, Nabeel.
Thank you.